Hello and welcome to Stock Voyage. We are checking out this week's biggest trades from WallStreetBets. We have to start with Key Gainey 5. As I said, if he makes an update, he will be in this video. If you didn't watch the previous video of biggest trades from WallStreetBets, here's what this trader did. He started off with $2,000, which he turned into $43,000 in 1 week by buying puts on SPY. In the next 3 days, he turned that 43k into 137k, and now the story continues. He turned that into $191,551.13. Can you even imagine how big this gain is? He turns 2k into 191k in less than 2 weeks. That's a 9,500% gain in less than 2 weeks. That's like 10xing your money. I just hope he continues and doesn't lose it all. Before we continue with this video, I just want to remind you that subscribing is totally free, as 90% of you are not subscribed, and subscribing is the best way you can support my channel. And here's a little secret: you can always change your mind for free. Without further ado, let's get back to the video. Next up, we have Untold Shitty MF, who says, "I did it. True OP style. Buy high, sell low. Way to minus 134k profit this year." I know I belong here. As you can see, he's down $134,000 year to date. He didn't share all his losses, but among his close positions, we can see that he lost money on ExxonMobil, Foot Locker, Neo and Alibaba. Well, he bought most of them at highs and just held while the money bled away. Next up, we have a huge gain by DG17377. He turned 40k into 865k from DocuSign. He bought puts on DocuSign. The stock dropped by more than 40% due to a bad guidance for Q4 earnings report. Investors expected DocuSign to report expected revenue between $557 and $563 million, while they reported expected revenue for Q4 of $545 million, which means that growth is essentially slowing down. Next, we have Certidius17, who is asking if he's doing this right. He's down 96% for a total loss of 26k. He lost so much money because he bought calls on Alibaba. He bought calls a month ago with expiration date on December the 23rd, with a break-even price at $187.75, while the price of the stock right now is $123.40. It's very unlikely that Alibaba stock will start rising soon due to fears over Chinese stocks. Next up, we have a trader with the name Lose Money Always, who ironically made a huge amount of money over the past year. He is up by 330% or $48,000 over the past year in total. He wrote that Omicron made him rich, and we can see that he bought a lot of puts. I do wonder if he sold before we had a huge pump this Tuesday. I hope he secured the bag and on to the next one. In contrast to Key Gainey 5, this trader named GVNSVN turned 1k to 50k and then he lost it all. Right now he is $2.03 in the minus. He got from 1k to 50k by buying Amazon puts. Next up, we have a huge gain by Casinelli26. He differs from an average WallStreetBets investor, as he has been holding his investments since 2009. He is up by more than 900% on Microsoft. He is up $22,000 in total. That is something very unusual to see on WallStreetBets. He bought those shares with margin, so he owns a total of 75,000 shares. Next, we have a huge loss from Cashback Paul. He was up by more than 15k one day before posting this, and at the time of posting this, he is down by $33,000. He is down by so much because he bought puts on Coupa Software with expiration day on December the 10th. I mean, that is unfortunate, but if you're buying options right before the earnings with an expiration date so close, you shouldn't be greedy. You should just lock in your profits, if you ever get in profit. Besides, options pricing moves for earnings. Next, we have a true redemption story. Printing Bands was down over 95% and turned 1.5k to 35k in 2 weeks. He had about 20k invested in Tesla, AMD, PayPal and Square calls expiring on Friday. We can see that he is up by more than 2000% over the past month, but if we take a look at the all-time chart, we can see the slow bleeding until his account worth just jumps up. He's up by 245% all time. In the next few screenshots, we can see which exactly and how much calls did he own. I would say that luck played a huge part in this trade, as Tuesday pump was based on almost no news. Next up, we have a loss from DDOP, who is down 42% for a total of $32,000. He's down so much on FuboTV. He owns a little more than 2,500 shares, which represents around 30% of his whole portfolio. FuboTV stock is down more than 40% over the last month. His average cost is $29.80 and current stock price moves around $18. He says he'll just backhold this for the next 1 to 2 years. Well, let's hope he recovers and on to the next one. Next, we have an insane gain by Spec Ops Cavalry. He says he's only 19 and loves the casino. We can see that he is up for a total of $42,080.95. His He's up by so much on options. He bought Tesla calls, Meta calls, but most of his profit came from buying calls on the S&P 500 index. I'm happy to see that he closed the positions and secured the bag. Next we have a loss from Baba Yaga of XSPA. He bought calls on Costco on November the 30th, with break-even price at $562.55 and expiry date on December the 23rd. He is down 56% for a total of $7,054.38. If we take a look at the stock price, we can see that he bought one day after the stock reached its all-time highs. To be honest, he did buy the dip, but that doesn't matter with options, especially when you buy out of the money calls with less than a month until expiry. Next up we have a huge gain by Helvetica 3. He wrote, and I quote, "They told me it was a stupid remote company." He bought calls on Roku, the stock that is up by more than 20% in the last 5 days due to reaching a long-term deal with Alphabet's Google to keep the YouTube and YouTube TV apps on its platform. He bought calls on December the 7th with expiration date on December the 10th. He's up by more than $140,000. That's a total return of over 3000%. That means multiplying your money 30 times. I hope he sold and secured the bag. Next up we have, well, technically it's not a loss and not a gain. At first glance it looks like a gain since he's up by almost 300% in the last week. But if we take a look at the other screenshot and what he wrote, we can see that this trader by the name of Dion Neon is in fact down by 0.58% over the past 5 years. He spent 5 years trading and he isn't up or down. He says that his all-time high was at $220,000, which is this spike in the graph. He was up by so much on Tesla, GameStop and SPY. Since we can see this insane spikes, I'm only assuming it was because of options. But if we take into account inflation, he would be down by around 13%. And last but not least, we have a huge gain by 2 Noob. He's up by around 1000% for a total profit of almost $1 million. He's up by so much on AMD. Graph of this stock just looks insane, going almost straight up over the past few years. With this kind of money you could just put it in an index fund and live quite comfortably. I really appreciate you sticking to the end, and it would mean a ton to me if you subscribed. If you have any recommendations or questions, leave them in the comments down below, and if you enjoyed this video and you would like to see more, let me know by smashing that like button. And thanks for watching.